Hello and welcome back to the International Greenkeepers Fire podcast. Today we have a fantastic episode lined up with Vicky Panniers from Sage, the Sports and Grounds Expo, and we're going to talk all things Sage and the things you can look forward to at the show. So without further ado, please enjoy the podcast. Today I'm with Vicky Panniers, the exhibition manager for Sage, the Sports and Grounds Expo, which is running again this year in 2023 at Malvern Showground, so the Three Counties Showground. It runs on the 19th and 20th of July 2023. Just want to know a bit more about the show and everything that goes around it. Like I say, we're here with Vicky. It'd be nice to get to know you a little bit as well today, Vicky, and then tell everyone about what's going on. So would you mind introducing yourself and a little bit about your background?
Yes, of course. So obviously Vicky Panniers, I head up Sage at Sports and Grounds Expo, and now going into our third year at Three Counties Showground in Malvern. So a little bit about myself. I worked with the guy. I worked at Fleet Line Markers for quite a while, so background in grounds maintenance, and I think Sage really came about because there was a lack of we were missing an outdoor show for the industry, and so that is where Sage has come from. It's very much about giving our exhibitors the chance to get hands-on with their machines and their solutions, and to have the space in order to do it outside where the machines and kit belongs, with very little limitations to what you can do. So it's very much focused on the outdoor demo side, and has been our core element, which continues for this year.
This is pretty much ticked my first question off the box, really. I wanted to talk about the inspiration behind Sage, and then obviously off the back of that as well, we can talk about what the attendees can expect to see in the event this year.
Yeah, so this year is stepping it up another gear for us. We're very much the outdoor element, as I said, it still remains the core aspect is for the demos, for our exhibitors to really show their kit in action. But moving on from that, Sage is evolving, it's changing, and what we have on our agenda is absolutely jam-packed this year. We've got our arb and forestry zone is growing, and we've seen quite a big change in this sector, I think, for us, and it's really exciting. I think it has come out from we will be hosting the UK Loggers National Championships, which we are very excited about. It's a 2-day event, so it covers the UK Loggers National Championships will be going for both days of Sage. It's stripped down into different elements, but that's really exciting for us, and it gives us an additional added value, I think, for our audience to come and see and have a look at. On top of that, we've got another expo running. We've got the Green Business Expo, which is another element, and I think you wanted to ask a few questions about that later.
Yeah.
We've got our networking event, which is returning for this year, with fabulous live music, and there is a lot of change happening at Sage, and it'd be so I'm really high hopes and high expectations of what we'll deliver this summer.
It sounds fantastic, and I'm sure people are really looking forward to it. Obviously, one of the big things as well, you've put emphasis on sort of hands-on, interactive, and that is the unique aspect of Sage. How will attendees be able to engage with the latest equipment and the solutions at the expo?
So our exhibitors, it's quite unique how the stands work. Is that they have the opportunity to have a demo zone, a demo area allocated right next to their stand, so they can actually, there is no restriction on what they do within that zone. They can demo their kit, they can move around in that zone and really allow the visitors to get hands-on when they're there. They do not have to wait for their designated time slot. However, on top of that, we have the central demo arena, which is a huge 90-meter by 95-meter plot in the middle of our site. And within that, this year, which is a new element, is we have a commentators box, and people and our exhibitors will be having time slot zones for them to really demonstrate their kit to the whole audience as a unique experience as well for them to get unique footage as well for that.
Yeah, definitely. As you mentioned, the industry as a whole has sort of moved away from the outdoor exhibits for whatever reasons, and it really does fill a gap in the market almost. And covering those demos and being able to see machines in person. It helps people make purchasing decisions. It helps people to see and understand exactly what a machine does before they even purchase or demo a machine. So it really is important, and it's good quality information for people. Back on to the next topic, which is sustainability. Obviously, it's a key focus for Sage this year. Could you elaborate a bit on the sustainable changes being implemented at the event and how they align with the greener practices around the grass program?
Mm-hmm. So, as an event, in the event, obviously in the events industry, and there is a massive emphasis for events to become more sustainable. The events have a bad reputation for not being able to make products sustainable and long term. And I think there are definite steps by the events industry as a whole to make massive changes. For us, sustainability means working with our suppliers, working with our caterers to make sure that all our product, all what they are delivering, their food products, their drinks products is sustainable, and all of which will be compostable from our catering agency on site. We also provide within our networking event, we don't use we hire in actual glasses and things like that. So we've looked at the hospitality as element of the show specifically this year. Taking that further, we have bought no lanyards into for this year. Any lanyards that you would see on site are recycled from previous events, so that we are really pushing as an event to make ourselves sustainable, but also it does come down to working with our suppliers, especially our venue, who are also trying to hit their targets. The Three Counties Showground do a fantastic job looking at their biodiversity within their huge site. So it's all about working together and collaborating as much as possible for us. For going back to grass, obviously they are a partner along with BioCircle. Grass is for those of you who may not be so familiar, is a group of experts. They are companies who've come together who specialise in really putting sustainable practice at the forefront for grounds management. They are a group which are there to support and guide those businesses in the grounds management world to implement sustainable practice. And it's, for us, grass coming on board last year was a game changer. It really made us think more about how we can help support sustainability, not just across our business, our industry, but across industry as a whole. And really, we want to push that as much as possible this year and in the years to come. So yeah, they've become a core central part of what how we lay out what we do and how we move forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah, there's a lot to it there, and I think a few bits that you touched on, just the ability for the show to be outside reduces things massively. You know, you're not looking at carpets, you're not looking at lighting. Just there's so much more to it as well. You know, the whole infrastructure and everything else. So it's a positive move forward. Um, you know, hopefully other events and venues will continue to move in a similar way, because ultimately it's part of the bigger circle as well. Making a machine more efficient is great. If we're not making the practices behind the machine, how they get there, how they're showcased and developed any more efficient, then are we really ticking the box? You know, we're sort of only ticking half of it. So it is sort of nice to see a different angle and a different approach with Sage. Now, I'm going to have a good go at butchering this next name, which I think is Webang, Webang,
We Yeah, yeah, we
Webang.
bang,
So
we bang. Yeah.
I'll keep that bit in there. Webang is mentioned as the official sponsor for the event. Could you tell us a bit more about their involvement and what they will be doing, showcasing, and what they will be showcasing at Sage?
hmm Yes, so we came on board. They exhibited with us last year. They are quite. They're very obviously very well known across internationally. They do a lot, but in the UK, they're rapidly growing. And for us, it was a fantastic opportunity to work with the guys at Weibang to see how we could really integrate them and their help and give us this. I think we're as businesses we're both growing.
Yeah.
It's still we're about to go into our third year, but in the grand scheme, the big picture, it's still fairly. It's about spreading the word and getting the name out there. So it's been great to work with the guys there. This year they are showcasing. They've got a new product which they are launching at Sage. They it is I think they're about to put into our sustainable product release and new product release that is coming out pre-show, a little bit more detail, but just to give you a little insight of what they what will be on display is a new machine for them that looks to tackle high grass and overgrown areas. So the pre-production samples will be on show at Sage, and they will be looking for the audience to give them feedback and see how it's to get some observations on their new kit.
So
So that's exciting to see.
that in itself is a reason to attend. Never mind anything else. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously another thing that we mentioned earlier, we've got the UK Loggers, the national championship taking place alongside of Sage. Could you give us a bit of insight on the competition and how it will add to the overall experience at the expo?
Yeah, so the competition itself is broken down into the 2 days. It's I don't know how familiar the audience or your audience is with how UK loggers work, but I have to say if you have 2 minutes to go onto their Instagram, it is phenomenal what the guys do and how fast and they and intricate the tests are. So on day one, we've got things like chain changes, cross cutting disciplines, and felling. So that's these. It's all very quick and it's fabulous to see in action. And then on day two, we've got this relay race, which is in itself fantastic to see. And then they do have named they will name their winners that for each section of their competition at the end of day 2. So it's something that I'm excited to see at Sage, and I think it really helps our ARB zone and forestry zone grow.
Definitely, and I think it'll really add to what you've got going on, because I've been to other ARB shows before in the past, and a lot of them you have to pay, and some are quite a lot of money as well to attend. So to have it involved with Sage, I think is just fantastic. You know, it's another reason to attend again. But also we've got the Green Business Expo running alongside Sage, which sounds intriguing. How does that complement your event, and what kind of panel discussions, topics, and anything else the visitors can expect to explore?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the Green Business Expo, so that comes from the Green Business Networking Group. This it's I think from working with our partners such as Grass and BioCircle over the last year, the need and the increase in pressure for industry to change and become more sustainable is definitely increasing. We're seeing more and more people starting their journey, obviously, into implementing more sustainable practice. But it is so important that we look at how other industries are doing, and then we can bring that into our own. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to seeing a bit more of that, because to me, I don't really know much about the Green Business Expo. So again, for it to be there just adds a little something else for the couple of days while we're there. And again,
We've
just
got some really renowned speakers as well coming in on
yeah,
that, who will be looking at how the viability of making your business green or more sustainable. So Dominic from Go Green Experts, he is a consultant, and he's well known across specifically this area. So the within Worcestershire
yeah.
and the furthest. So we've got people on board who are coming to give their expertise, and I think it's a fantastic opportunity for our audience to really see, okay, actually I can implement that in my own business. It's not too far out of my reach.
That's brilliant. Lots of discussions and topics to go at then. So Sage aims to cater for a diverse range of professionals, from working councils to the education institutions, landscaping, construction, and then obviously a lot more as well. Could you highlight some sort of specific offerings and attractions that could be particularly interesting for each of those target audiences?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think we keep coming back to it. The sustainable element that we are trying to push forward, the sustainable practice that we want to make sure that we are engaging our audience with. I think that crosses over all our for our whole visitor audience as a whole. The Obviously we get within that our schools and our council, is so important that they get to see the kit in action, to
Yeah,
see actually whether can my team implement and use this in a way that is viable for us to make it to make it work.
yeah,
I think it's so valuable to the audience to see that in action. The Sage is obviously outdoors. The Green Business Expo is indoors, but our networking event will bring everybody together,
yeah,
and that will take place on the Wednesday afternoon. And that is an opportunity to really collaborate, to really meet people who potentially you might not meet in your own industry events, but perhaps the relationships built from that could really give growth to your business.
Yeah,
And
definitely. It's so important networking even outside of your own circle, because you really don't know who you're going to bump into next, or where things are going to take you in your own career development. You might end up in a situation where you've met people in the past that you think these could actually do a job for me, whether it was a contractor or a consultant or even an outside brand to fill a niche or to showcase a product or whatever the situation. I always say to people, even the students I have at the college, we often have demos of line marking machines and various other bits, and some of these students can be in landscaping or other things, and I say, you don't think less of it as a line marking machine that's marking out the grass. It's the career development, it's the conversations, it's the understanding of products and the differences between things. So there is a lot more to it, and just even networking in itself, it's a really important thing, especially in our industry.
no, definitely.
So, are there any noticeable exhibitors or featured industry experts attending Sage this year? And what can attendees look forward to in terms of exclusive insights or product demonstrations? I know you mentioned one earlier with the new machine. Is there anything else we can look forward to?
Um, yeah, I think that there's quite a few new product releases happening at Sage this year. I think uh, over the last 2 years, with the impact of COVID, there has been a holdback on machinery, and we're now starting to see a whole lot of kit come through. So really putting the innovation of the industry at the forefront. Um, so we've got Toro returning this year, and they will be demoing their stand-on grandstand Revolution, which is powered by the revolutionary Hypercell power system. We've got a new product range for Kramer, which includes for their electric ride-on mowers. I think there's so much coming out. It is really exciting to see that they're all going to be in one place. So I think we do have a sneak peek preview coming out by the end of the month. So keep your eyes fixed for the release of that. So that will give a little bit more insight of what we've got going on and what's going to be showcased in July.
Oh, that's fantastic. We'll keep his eyes peeled for that. So with these sorts of shows, people travel from all over the country and even overseas. I've seen people attending the various ones in the UK from all over. With Sage, how can businesses and individuals that are traveling to the event make the most of their visit at Sage? Are there any tips, any recommendations that you'd provide for attendees to ensure that they're having a fulfilling experience?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. I think we've obviously pre-booking your ticket obviously would greatly would make sure that you get in
Yeah.
quicker to our showground site, which is always beneficial. But I think our 2 day setup I think is an opportunity for everybody to stay over on the Wednesday. We've got fantastic facilities in the local area, and then you can enjoy the full 2 day events. There are different panels going on the 2 days, so we wouldn't want you to miss out. The national UK the UK Loggers Championships, obviously that's still running for the 2 days. So it'd be great if I think it's a fantastic opportunity to stay and get the most out of the event itself. But yeah, it's I think the what we've got for transport links and everything, the three counties is a fantastic, easy and accessible venue for everybody, and I think it's we're very centrally located.
Yeah, it's in a fantastic place, and it's for those that do know, it's the place that the Malvern show that's held, the Malvern Flower Show. So it is used a lot, and there is a lot of amenities around the area. So yeah, like we said, it's if you want to stay over, there's places to stay. But you really need to get on it as soon as possible because They don't become any more available or cheaper either. So, your times to get on those sort of things early. But there still is time, there
Yeah.
still is places available if you would like to attend both days and didn't want to drive. Um, on
And I
to,
forgot to mention our
so,
app.
okay,
Yes,
let's go
I
through the
forgot to
app.
mention the app. So yeah, so this year is the first time we will launch the new Sage app, which not only gives our audience the chance to interact directly with the exhibitors, it also provides notifications of when specific demos are taking place, the panel talk discussions. Also gives the ability for our audience to ask questions to our panel discussions without feeling the self-conscious potentially of raising your hand in the audience, and it also has points mean prizes, so it's got a few competitions within the app itself. So it'd be for everybody who would like to play their part and get the most out of Sage. I think obviously the app it would be the first place to go to really make sure that you're ready for the 2 days
So
beforehand.
with the app, is that something we can download now, or is it something that's going to be available from the
Yes, it
day?
is live. It is live, and
Is there anything in particular we need
yeah,
to be
all the
searching for?
information. Sorry, Bradley, I
Is,
can't.
is there anything in
Watch it.
particular we?
Sage 23. Say yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, that's
The
fine.
links are on the website though, so if anybody's struggling, just hop onto the website and the links will be live on there.
Oh, brilliant. We should check that out. We also have live music and entertainment as part of the expo. Could you tell us a bit more about the performance, the acts that the attendees can look forward to seeing during the visit at
Yeah.
Sage?
So returning from last year, we had such a fantastic response to having Polly Edwards with us last summer, who she is a local singer, but she's phenomenal in what she delivers, and she will actually be returning this year. This summer, but we also have Dan Greenaway, who is very well known across the local counties as well. He's fantastic to have on board this year, and yeah, they'll be on site from 4 p.m. on Wednesday the 19th, alongside our sponsored bar, very kindly by Fleet Line Markers, who additionally it's their 70th anniversary this year, so they have kindly agreed to do that. And we also have food stalls that will be available specifically for our networking event alongside the music. So it should be a nice, fingers crossed, the British weather holds up. It'd be fantastic if it was the same as it was last year, but we've got a spectacular view of the Malvern Hills where we are, and it's a great place to get together after the first day and just have a mingle.
Yeah, you already managed to tick the next question off on that one for me with the food vendors and the bar at the Fleet area. I know it's not one of your favourite topics, but it is a fantastic place to sort of come together, especially with some of the your peers and co-workers, to have an opportunity at the end of the show to sort of wind down a little bit and enjoy everything else that's going on with the live music and a nice chat and some good food. So obviously, Sage has been held at the Three Counties Showground in Malvern. What factors did contribute to selecting that venue for you? I know we spoke about it being outside, but is there anything else, sort of location-wise, or even the overall experience of the venue, which makes it different from others?
I can't fault our venue at all. Our venue is fabulous in what they do and what they deliver for us. I think to offer a free event, which our audience is very familiar with, is what is expected within our industry. It has its challenges to make sure that it works, and at the end of the day, it is the exhibitors who do feel that that especially with budgets being tightened, people are looking at how they work events, and I think for us, it's making sure that we are offering the most competitive prices, and we wouldn't be able to do that without our venue. So our venue makes it viable for us and therefore viable for our exhibitors to come on board with. So we've had prices from £18 per square metre. And it's for those of you who haven't seen, who haven't visited the three counties before, it's nestled right at the foot of the Malvern Hills, and the view is epic.
For sure, it's a
It's
fantastic venue.
yeah.
While we're there, is there any sort of specific networking opportunities or designated spaces we can expect to see for the professionals attending Sage to collaborate and connect with each other?
Mm-hmm. So obviously we have the networking event that is the focal central point for our networking. However, there is a press tent, and there is a press event going on at Sage for those who are involved in that side of things, and there is also around the central hospitality zone. There is seating area where we would invite those for our audience to come together in that specific zone, and they've had the large screens, and to really get the feel of being a part of Sage. I think there's lots of opportunity there. But yeah, I think our networking event is the place to be, really, to make those new contacts and to really cross between those industries, to see how we can work together.
That's great. And then in terms of industry trends, what are some of the key advancements and innovations within sports turf and grounds maintenance that you're going to be highlighting at Sage? Obviously, we spoke about sustainability, but is there any other big topics we should be looking out for?
I think we within that we're looking very much at the biodiversity and how businesses can implement biodiversity in quite simple, practical ways for their business. Mark Tomlinson from BioCircle he's doing a specific talk on the washdown systems, and I think it's very important for the grounds management industry to look at the impact on the watercourse, and I think it's a conversation that we want to continue. We want to look at specifically through Sage and after the event itself, and I think it's something that needs to be addressed more closely, looked at, and how we can really improve the practices around that.
Definitely.
Within what we do. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, that all comes back to sustainability, and it's been a really, really, really big thing over the past few years. And yeah, water usage, even not just irrigation, but yeah, cleaning down machinery. It's something that's not really spoke about, and that water then goes off into drain, which goes off into the local river rather than being collected and reused for those irrigation systems. And it then makes the offset of the irrigation system not as bad if you're recycling these things and reusing the nutrients that are going to be within the water when you've washed down, for example, the deck of a mower. Getting rid of that just seems daft. So to be able to start talking about collecting this water and reusing it or recycling it in a way it's fantastic. It's again another movement forward for the industry.
Yeah, no, and we're seeing obviously there's a battery powered equipment is high on our agenda. It's huge. There's a huge percentage of our exhibitors who are there looking at and exploring different ways and different battery types, and it makes up a huge amount of our exhibitor focus, I think, on that side of things as well. So it is I think there's a lot of innovation coming out of the industry now, and I hope to people can use Sage as a hub to really come together and look at what's on the market.
That's fantastic. Would you like to share with us any sort of success stories or testimonials from previous editions of Sage, or demonstrate the impact and the value of the expo on the attendees and the exhibitors so far?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think it's demonstrated in our returning exhibitors who have re-signed for the year, especially our founding exhibitors who came with us the first year, which I have to say, 21 straight after COVID was it had its risks involved. And I think that the fact that they are returning and really getting behind Sage, it's a testament in itself that Sage is the potential of what Sage can become over the next 5 to 10 years. Are obviously from the visitor side of things, I think everybody who came last year, from our surveys that were done after the event, it's very much it's they want to see more, and from that we can keep growing. We will keep working hard to make sure that we keep expanding on the areas for them, and I think they will see a huge development this year for what we're able to deliver in July. So it's all about, I think, we planted the seed. They can see that it's growing, and we will continue to do so as long as it's required.
That's fantastic, and that pretty much leads me on to my final question anyway, which is, for any individuals that can't attend Sage in person, is there going to be any sort of virtual or online components that are going to be available? Is there anything that they should be looking out for online? Is there any sort of access to the event or any offerings like that?
Yeah, so obviously the essential part of Sage is or the core element of Sage is the hands-on practicality side. We want as many people to come together on site as possible. However, we understand that in certain situations that might not always be possible, and we will be. There will be blogs going on through after the event where people can check in to see get snippets of the panel talk discussions that have happened on site, and to really just try and engage as much as possible with our with the experts who've been with us for the 2 days, and to get their feedback and see what's their feeling of how we go forwards. I think is essential for our visitors to see as well. So I think that we'll be working hard to make sure that there is opportunities after show for those of us who cannot be with us, unfortunately, on the 2 days, but it'd be fantastic to see as many there as possible.
Yeah, definitely, and it's good to know that. I know from our standpoint at International Greenkeepers, we'll be trying to produce some little bits from the show, so at least we get some sort of coverage, whether it's written or video. It'll be there eventually, and sort of keep your eyes out for that. We'll be exhibiting as well, so we look forward to coming along to the event, and another reason why you should come along to speak to us and everything else that's going on around us.
Another aspect that we perhaps haven't touched on is the recruitment side of the industry, and it's something that it hangs over the industry as a whole, that there is a lack of personnel coming into the lack of candidates applying into the industry. Obviously, I know you are very aware of this in the greenkeeping world, and how we can help support this within our learning hub, where we have talks going on about how we can support land-based colleges. That panel is quite expertly led by the GMA, the CEO of Bali and the CEO Lantra, as well as Victoria Fianda, a course assessor, who I know you're familiar with.
Yeah.
They they're there to really promote the industry within the learning hub, but we're in the process of, at the moment, putting a jobs board together. So what we within the learning hub, there will be jobs that are open for the industry, and I think it's the start. It's something that we would like to integrate more within Sage, and to really to help. It's a general consensus among our exhibitors that quite a few have gaps, have positions open, and who they need for. So anything we can do to support that is beneficial for the industry as a whole. So yeah,
Definitely. Recruitment's been a major talking point for the past few years. The lack of people within the industry, and then obviously turning to places like colleges and the education sector, to try and bring apprentices and people from sort of school leaver positions rather than sort of crossovers in other industries, whether that was getting someone in from working at the local supermarket or an electrician or whoever. It's just trying to open any doors at this point and showcasing the different experiences and opportunities of not just working in the UK but overseas and in some of the world's greatest venues. The opportunities available are fantastic, and yeah, as an industry as a whole, it's something we don't do enough of. So it's fantastic to see you getting involved with that and really pushing that forward.
No, it's great. Well, yeah, every little helps, doesn't it? So get the word
Definitely,
out there.
definitely. Is there any other last little bits you'd like to add, Vicky?
No, I think yeah, I just want to, obviously, it'd be fantastic to welcome as many as possible to Sage on the 19th and 20th of July. And fingers crossed the weather holds, and even if it doesn't, we will be prepared. And
For sure,
we'll
we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a fantastic event. I'd like to obviously thank you for today, for your time, for explaining what Sage is, what's going on, and everything around the show. So it's another aspect of the industry that our viewers and listeners can pick up on and hopefully attend as well, which would be fantastic.
fingers crossed. No, that'd be great. That'd be great. No, thank you so much for your time. That's fantastic.
Thank you for your time.